Happy Wednesday. I hope you're all having a really lovely week so far. Thank you all for joining our first ever Digital Skills Lab, which is very exciting. So this is all about improving your website. We're so excited to be hosting this new type of event in partnership with BT. And we've got Ian from the BT team who will be taking us through the session and sharing his website expertise with us all. I'll tell you a little bit about how the session is going to work in a second, but first, I can see new faces, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about Digital Boost and how we can support you and your small business. So my name is Masuma. I'm part of the Digital Boost team, and we've got the lovely Alice well from our team, who you will have already met if you've been in any of our masterclasses or received any of our emails. She is the best, and we are here to help you throughout the session. So if you need anything, please send us a message in the chat. At Digital Boost, we provide free support to small businesses and charities through one-to-one mentoring, mini accelerator programs, masterclasses, and other group workshops just like this one. Our support is entirely free. We physically cannot take your money, and we don't want to take your money either. We can offer all of this for free because we're supported by our wonderful partners like BT, MasterCard, NatWest, and so many others, but also because all of our amazing 4,000 plus mentors are volunteers and they give us their time for free to support all of you. We'll share some links in the chat if you're interested in joining our community, but as always, there is no pressure at all. Our services are all free and here for whenever you need them. So our session today is a little bit different to our usual masterclasses that some of you joined before. We've partnered with BT to create these digital skills labs, which are interactive workshops where we'll help you develop your skills and connect with each other. Ian is our host for today, and he'll be taking us through a short presentation all about how to improve our websites. We'll then put you into breakout rooms so you can work together to go through the checklist for each of your websites so you can see what you've ticked off, what you still need to work on, and also get feedback from people who've not seen your website before. It's always really valuable to take a step back and see things from a fresh perspective. So I think sometimes when we're all too close to our websites, we know what we meant to say, we know where to go, but when it's someone who hasn't seen it before, you can really see where the gaps are. So you should have all received a workbook via email ahead of the session, but we're going to send that in the chat as well for anyone who didn't. And you can use that to capture your notes and actions from the presentation and the breakout. So before I hand over to Ian, I also want to say that this is our first time running this session. So we would love your feedback and any suggestions that you have. We'll be sending you an email later on with the replay and all of the links and a short feedback form. So we'll really appreciate if you could let us know your thoughts, any suggestions you have, what you liked, what you didn't, so we can continue to improve our services for all of you. So with that, Ian, it's over to you. I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
We have a double mute effect. Good afternoon, everyone. Just going to share my screen. Suma, can you just let me know if you can see it?
Yes, I can.
Cool. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining today. We're going to be covering just the basics of websites, making sure everybody has, a true fundamental understanding of how to create that, really impactful website, because please understand, everybody, that, everyday people are going to be looking at your website, and what we don't want to do is give them a reason not to choose you. We want them to continue to focus on your website, stay on your website, and convert on your website. That's the main thing. So today we're just going to focus on what can help create that great website. Also, how can you improve your conversion rate? And then we're going to jump into breakout groups, as Masuma said before. But these are some of the tools when you're creating your website that I'd love you guys to at least have a look at, to ensure that the fundamental foundations are key. So we're going to be looking at or touching upon SEMrush, Ahrefs, Google Keyword Planner, also as ChatGPT, WebEx, Impact Hero. There's quite a lot of different ones that can help build that foundation of a great website. So the checklist that we're going to look at today is user-friendly navigation, mobile friendliness, indexed in Google with no errors, because that is key when it comes to building a website and from SEO, Google Analytics or any type of analytical tool, call to actions, making sure you have the correct call to actions, impactful call to actions, lead capture forms, social media integration, meta descriptions, keyword targeting, descriptive context, and of course, what can help make a great blog, which will also encourage people to stay on your website, but also help from an SEO purpose as well. So today I'm just going to be looking at Kate Walton, an amazing wallpaper artist. Just going to be diving into her website, just giving you guys an overview of what I look at and what other people look at on websites as well, which should give you a feel. Then I'll jump into our actual website so you guys can have a kind of look around before we move into the breakout group. But one of the main things I love to touch upon is user-friendly navigation. Now that could be at the top of the page, which is a user navigation. These are some of the best practices, and then some of the practices that you guys should avoid, or what I believe you should avoid. So breaking out the product or service, a lot of businesses online, at least small businesses I see, when it comes to if they have an online shop or online service, they tend to just have the word shop in the navigation. Now, if you are one of those individuals, I would highly recommend after this call that you break out the word shop. What is it that you do? In this case, Kate has prints, wallpapers, fabrics, and so forth. But the whole idea is we break it out. So not only can the user understand it and see the difference in the website, but also SEO picks it up. We're keeping it clean. We're not overcrowding, because that is the worst when you give people too much options. I was on someone's website the other day and they had 10 different bits within the top navigation. So it's prioritizing where do you want people to convert. Again, prioritizing those important ones, and then ensure that it's mobile responsive. Because if you have ever gone on a website for the most part or looked at your website, a lot of people tend to visit your website from a mobile device. So making sure that your website is mobile responsive is key. Again, stuff to avoid is shop, using vague labels. Again, it doesn't help from an SEO purpose, and it really doesn't help from people navigating your website. So really try and break it down. What is it that people are coming to your website for, and making sure that's in the navigation. Mobile friendliness, we'll just jump into that. Of course, I appreciate most people nowadays build sites on Shopify, Squarespace, Wix, and so forth. So it's okay. They tend to have a responsive element to it. But if you're on WordPress, you may have to look into it a little bit and just make sure that your site is reactive. But what you're looking at is fast loading times, because again, most people nowadays have a low, well, tolerance or patience level when it comes to websites loading. It could be down to the connectivity, or it could be down to your website. But what you don't want to do is give people the option of going, okay, this website isn't loading, let me bounce off and look somewhere else. And that can be done by, smaller images in terms of pixel size on your website, or, not using Flash or certain multimedia tools on the website, but just having basic imagery. Touch-friendly navigation, again, scrolling, pinching, how does that work on your responsive site? Making sure that's there. Readable text, again, a lot of people like to read on their mobile phones, so just making sure it is readable um, and accessible. I think sometimes as well, some people just throw up, wording on a website and certain colors, and it is very hard to read, especially in sunlight. So just be aware of that. And accessible forms as well. Sometimes the form could take up the whole mobile screen. Making sure, if you are doing it, make sure it's a small amount. What is it that you want to get from your potential customer on your website, and just having those key forms. Again, there was one website I was looking at and it had a 20 field form. I was like, who on God's green earth is going to fill out 20 different fields? Because I wasn't. If it's 5 or less, then you'll have my details. But stuff to avoid, as I said, using Flash. Flash is something that's been around now for at least 20 years. Making sure it's video content, embedded stuff from YouTube is really good. And of course, some of the images. Intrusive pop-ups, trying to avoid those. Again, I was on a website the other day with 3 pop-ups. I just closed the website down. I was like, this is way too much. One pop-up is fine. Again, why do you want a pop-up on your website? Trying to get people's details, sign up to a newsletter, whatever it is, that's fine. But don't have more than one, please. And again, complex navigation. You know, use the analogy of if you walk into a shop, you want to be able to understand the physical shop that you walked in. You want to see where stuff is, so you know exactly what floor to go to or what section of the department store to go to. So it's going to be the same on your website as well. Easy navigation, people can just move around. There's some tools that you guys can use to help with your website optimizations. A free one is Google Page Speed Test, that can give you an inkling of how well your website is performing. Ahrefs, they do a 14-day free trial. You guys can use that as well, and it'll help again, give that understanding of what your current site is doing. And if you haven't built a website, this is something that you guys should really focus on, because again, about 70 to 80% of your traffic will be coming through mobile. Indexed on Google with no errors. Again, this is the Google page speed test on the right hand side. This is an example. So if you guys have ever used this, you'll hopefully recognize the screen. If you haven't, then please go over to it. Just literally Google page speed test, and then you just put in your website and it'll give you a score. As you can see here on Kate's website, mobile, we're looking at 40% performance. One of the main reasons why is something to avoid is large images. Again, it's going to take a while for your internet to bring through the larger images, and most websites nowadays tend to have at least 10 to 15 images on the homepage alone. So the larger images will cause 5 to 10 seconds load speed. So that's going to bring down your performance. But some of the things that you guys can focus on is submitting a sitemap. Now, if you've never heard of a sitemap, basically that is a blueprint that you're telling Google, this is my website and these are my pages on my website. You can do that for free if you head over to Google Console and upload a sitemap. You can do it very quick and easy. If you need any tutorials, you can jump on YouTube, or if you need a mentor to help, we're more than happy to help. But it is amazing. It's a blueprint, so Google understands, okay, this is a website, these are the different pages, and it's easy to crawl the website and see if there's any issues. Again, second one, using a crawlable site structure. What that basically means is, example here, if it's katewalton.com/wallpaper, it is not / stuff to hang on your wall. That wouldn't really correlate. So it's using specific terms so Google knows, okay, this website does wallpapers, it does prints, it does fabrics, and so forth. And then again, optimizing for page loading speed. That is a lot of the time, I would rather you embed a YouTube video on your website rather than you upload a video on your website, because again, the loading page speed is going to be impacted. Some free tools, as I mentioned, the Google Page Speed Test, which is this on the right-hand side. Google Search Console is another really good free one that Google is offering. And then going back to Ahrefs and SEMrush, really good tools that you can use on your website to help build it if you are in the building process, or if you've built it already and want to review it. If you've built a website already, you can use Screaming Frog. It's another free tool where you can see how well your website is performing, if there's any dead pages, any 404 pages, which is basically someone goes to your website and there's nothing there, that can impact your performance. But as you can see on the right-hand side, the SEO is really strong at 100 out of 100. Analytical tools, my best friend. If you've ever been on a masterclass or had a mentoring session with me, it's all about the numbers. Okay, you have to ensure, yes, you may be on Shopify or Wix, but Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics will always help you understand what's happening on your website. People come to your website and do a bunch of different things. Again, I always use a store analogy. Someone walks into your physical shop, are they going left? Are they going right? How much time are they spending in your shop? What are they picking up? What are they putting down? Stuff like that. When it comes to analytics, Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics, you get that insight as well. How long are people spending on your website? What are they doing? What pages are they going to? So that would give you a good insight into how do you optimize your website. Can you move the navigation bar around? You may think in this case, wallpapers are the best sellers, or that's what people are into, when in actual fact, it could be prints or fabrics. So it's going to be completely different. So for me, making sure you have analytical tools on your website, I do appreciate Shopify and Wix, and some of these come with their own, but just having that additional bit of kit on your website, it is free, especially Google Analytics. You can just use it to help optimize the site. I would always say one thing to do is avoid not using the metrics. Again, I help a lot of small businesses which just have Google Analytics on the website and they don't use it, which is good and bad, because at least I can go in and help. But if they're not using it, again, I don't understand why people are using the website or how people are using the website. Okay. When you set up Google Analytics, you need to be able to track the goals. What would you class as a goal? Okay, how many people have clicked on the contact us form? How many people have gone to your blog, if that is important to you? And again, just having these as little tick boxes to go, okay, this week we had 10, next week let's try and aim for 15. Or last week we had 10, this week is 15. I'll buy myself, a little treat because I've achieved it. Create conversion tags as well. Yes, people could buy from you if you do have a website that sells particular products, but there could be also other conversion tags. how many people have added to basket, how many people have gone to checkout, but then not bought. How can you then set up goals and tags to go, okay, well, this is my conversion metrics. How can I work back from that? How can I improve the lead funnel journey, which is moving people from your website to checkout? And again, UTM tags, you can put these in your emails, you can put these on your LinkedIn, and it will be picked up in the likes of Google Analytics, which is basically if you post something on LinkedIn or Facebook, come to my shop, you can set up a UTM tag, which will say, look, on this post, you had 20 people came through to the website from that post, or 5 people or so forth. But it helps give you an understanding of how many people are not only seeing your posts, but actually coming to your website and then doing an action on your website as well. As I mentioned, some of the free tools, Google Analytics, free. Adobe Analytics does free to a point, but you will have to pay for it thereafter. And then there's another amazing one called a heat map. A heat map just gives you an indication of how people are using your website, what sections are stuck on, or what they're clicking on your website. So it could be the first fold, or a lot of people going down to the bottom of the page. You never know. You always have assumptions. So there's some tools here that can help give a better understanding of how people are using your website. Call to actions across the website as well are key. We always want to have similar call to actions, try and make sure they marry up. In this case, we always want people to shop now. There's a secondary call to action which we want reviews, but the main one is shop now, add to cart, and so forth. Never stop testing. Everybody's going to be different. Some people could go with buy now or buy today or find out more information today. There's loads of different calls to actions, but one thing you should never do is stop testing. Don't just put up your website and just hope for the best. Always go, okay, well, if I can relate back to Google Analytics, how are people using my website? How many people clicked on this particular goal or trigger and done an action off the back of it? Okay, use actionable verbs. Do this. You want your audience to do something. You want them to convert. So what words could you portray? Keeping it above the fold. Again, when people visit your website, making sure it's at the top of the page, whatever you want them to do within the hero image. So as soon as you land on your page, get people to either fill out a form at the top or, shop now, find out more, or buy our products today. Avoid overloading the page. Don't stick shop now everywhere because, at the end of the day, some people could be there for browsing and you want to educate them on why they need to choose your product or service. Again, it's the same if you went to a shop and someone's just walking around behind you and just going, would you like this? Would you like this? It becomes a bit overwhelming. So again, have it in strategic places. Using colors that blend in with the page, you want it to stand out. Most of us buy from Amazon, so orange is a key trigger for a lot of us to potentially buy now or add to cart. So start thinking, okay, what colors could you use that really stand out and grab people's attention to do a call to action? And again, one thing to avoid is having similar primary and secondary call to actions. As I mentioned, the main one here is shop now, but we're also looking for reviews. We're also wanting people to help social proof the business, encourage others to buy from Kate in this aspect. Lead capture forms, a lot of us have it, or I would recommend you put it on your website where someone opens up the website within 10 15 seconds a pop-up comes, because again, people could be browsing and you could give them an offer. What is in this offer? It could be 10% off your first purchase, or it could be 20% off, or get a free ebook, whatever it is. What is your main product or service that you're trying to sell? It could be a secondary one as well, which is the likes of an ebook, to try and help educate people on why they should buy from you. But adding forms to the page with the most traffic, a lot of people do it on home pages. For me, in this case, it could be the wallpaper page, because a lot of people come to this website for wallpaper. So you could just have a wallpaper only offer, because most people don't tend to stay on the homepage that long, or it could be on the print section. Start with basic call to actions such as subscribe, sign up today, anything like that. Try and entice them. It's not mandatory, but it's good if they did, because guess what? You're getting 10% off or 20% off. And again, what can you offer the audience? I appreciate some businesses may go, look, I don't have much. I can't offer because of financial commitments. It's completely fine. Let's say they just stay in tune with you. The whole idea is, keep up to date with, the latest product releases or anything like that. Try and entice the audience, but you're trying to figure out why they're doing it. And then, of course, you can always change the offer. Please don't leave the same pop-up going for months on end, because everybody's going to be different. Okay, you may even have some repeat customers as well. Avoid lack of clarity. Again, when it comes to building out a strategy, what do you want people to do on your website? What do you want them to do on specific pages, and have the pop up accordingly. Misleading the audience. Don't just have people sign up and then you don't deliver, i.e. in this case, don't have people sign up to the newsletter and you don't deliver a newsletter, because people clearly want to find out more about what you're offering, what offers you may have or what's coming next. In this case, because it's wallpaper, it could be, what's going to be brand new, what's this season talking about. So again, newsletters help with that. Lack of process capturing details. Again, I've seen it before where a lot of people just go, yeah, people have signed up to my newsletter. I don't know where it is. I started off by putting it in Microsoft Word, then Microsoft Excel, and then I put it into a CRM. Find out where you're going to be storing the data and what you're going to be doing with it. Okay. Social media integration as well. Hopefully, if you're just starting up a business, you will be putting your business on Instagram or Facebook or even TikTok. There's integrations that you can put within the likes of Shopify, Wix, even on WordPress, but making sure you have one on your website that can give, social proofing to the business as well. So in this instance, Kate has one on our website, which is a widget that brings in some of our most recent posts. So it's clear, it's positioned on the page, people can see it, people get an idea of what she's posting, and again, that can also help with more likes, shares, and follows on the actual platform itself. She's included share buttons where possible, so again, people can share her content, which is really good. Hers is very visual, so that is what Instagram is about. Be aware of what's in your social feed as well, because with this one, it's showing new up-to-date stuff, so people can get an understanding, okay, this will be on the website soon, this is what she's creating. So again, it creates that community, creates that buzz about it. And be consistent is another thing that I'd always say. I've seen it time and time again where individuals use their business Instagram as their personal Instagram, and they start posting like very random bits, and I have to kind of give them a call or a message, just be like, can you not post that again? I appreciate your brand is you, but depending on your audience, they are following you for specific reasons. They don't want to see you there at the beach kind of thing. Focus on the business. And this was another one, this was a big one, and I know it sounds you know like straightforward, but I've been on 2 pages recently in the last week where their Instagram has gone to a dead Instagram page and they actually have another Instagram page. I've seen it once this year with Facebook, but recently it seems Instagram is the issue. So please just make sure that when you link to an Instagram, it is a working Instagram. It is one that you use, please. Meta descriptions and schema. Now, I appreciate this may look a little bit scary, but I'll show you when I bring up the actual website what this is. But when it comes to meta descriptions, when you guys create a website, if you've done one already, please make sure your meta descriptions are filled out. This is what Google is seeing, and if anybody does a Google search, it's the wording that comes up within the Google search when it displays your website. So making sure that you use relevant terms is important. Creating unique descriptions for each page is also important as well. Avoid using generic wording, keyword stuffing, and using duplicate descriptions. Now, what that basically means is, if we were going to a wallpaper page, the wording that we would use is everything around luxury wallpaper, stuff like that, premium wallpaper. It wouldn't just be about Kate Walton in this case. We'd give some form of insight into what that page is about, what the product is about. Keyword stuffing, we wouldn't say this premium wallpaper is amazing because it will make your house feel more premium, XYZ. We wouldn't keep using the word premium because that is classed as keyword stuffing. Same with duplicate descriptions. We wouldn't use the same description on the wallpaper page for the print page or the fabric page or so forth. We'd always try and mix it up, because not only does that help with people understanding your website, but it also helps with Google understanding the website as well. Some free tools that you guys can use, again, SEMrush, Ahrefs, Impact Hero, I've not really spoken about before, but it's an amazing bit of kit. You will have to pay for it, but it is basically using AI to understand why people are going to your page, what bits of content they're looking at, and then helps to build more impactful content on your website, which can help with the meta descriptions and schema data. Okay, ChatGPT, my best friend ever, because it just helps build the foundation of whatever wording I want to use in terms of the meta description. And then Google Keyword Planner. So say, for example, when it came to wallpapers, we had looked up, okay, what wallpapers are people looking for? What are the top wallpaper terms? And a lot of it was around luxury, premium, and so forth. And of course, her product is a premium product, but it was never described like that in her eyes. So we started to integrate the word premium. And as a result, we've started to see a lot more people visit the website. So using those kind of free tools will help build up your meta description or schema data. Schema data if you're on WordPress, meta description if you're on Shopify, Wix, or Squarespace. Keyword tagging, very similar to what I was just describing, making sure that you appear for whatever keywords you want to appear. I always say to businesses, have at least 3 main keywords that you want to be seen as. What are going to be your USPs, i.e., your unique selling points? How are people viewing your business? Why would people go to your business? Are you offering something different to your competitors? In this case, Kate Walton, we can use the word premium, luxury wallpaper. So those were some of the keywords that we wanted to be known for. So guess what? A lot of the pages will incorporate those type of wording. So what do you want to be known for? Have those keywords and then go, okay, well, how can I structure sentences around that for my meta description and for some of your schema data on your website? Again, avoid keyword stuffing. That's naughty. Google doesn't like it. Your SEO will um, be degraded. I guess it'll be marked as negative by Google. Irrelevant keywords as well. In this case, we want to be known for wallpaper. What we don't want to be known for could be something like murals or something like that, which is completely different. So we're using relevant keywords there. Um, Overlooking keyword variations as well. Again, with Kate Walton, we had used flower, for example, flower wallpaper, but when we used Google Keyword Planner, we realized that floral wallpaper got more traffic. So we started to switch how we were describing it on the website. So don't just go with your first bet of this is a keyword that's going to work. You can find alternatives as well. So there's tools, again, SEMrush, Ahrefs, Impact Hero, ChatGPT, and Google Keyword Planner. Again, Google Keyword Planner is free. It's an amazing tool. You get to see how much people are searching for particular terms per month. Descriptive content as well. Again, really start looking at websites and building out websites, building out your website, sorry, how you see your competitors building it out if they're a good example. And a lot of the time, if you were to click on the wallpaper segment, you could see, there's descriptive text. We don't just bring people to and everything on that page is wallpaper. We give it a bit of descriptive text. Reason why? Because it helps to literally paint the picture, but it also helps from an SEO purpose as well. So we're trying to understand our audience, give them some insight into what this page is about, using clear, concise language, optimizing for readability. Again, what that means is color on the page, text on the page, size on the page. There's a lot that it will incorporate. Formatting and structure as well, making sure it's just easy to follow. Because a lot of the time, you'll jump on a website and you'll see stuff all over the place and it doesn't have that story. And for most of us, we love a good storytelling. So just making sure that your website tells a story is key. Avoid fluff and filler content, which a lot of people just bounce off the page. Duplicate content as well. That's going to mark you down on SEO and keyword stuffing. Again, very similar tools to the previous ones because again, guys, a lot of these will found or help with the foundation of your website, and then you can improve on it. Importance of a blog. Love a good blog. SEO loves a good blog. There's only one website recently that I've come across that said they didn't want a blog, and there was a bit of back and forth for a few minutes between me and the owner. But it will always help from an SEO purpose, okay? Especially when you integrate video content into it, such as YouTube, embedding that YouTube video on your website, because Google picks it up from YouTube, it also picks it up from your website. It sees it as like an omni-channel, i.e., everything's speaking and talking about the same events and the pictures as well. So it's really good. It will help your SEO. It'll help people come to your website. Plus, the main thing, it'll give an audience an understanding of what you like talking about, where your head's at, relevance to your website, stuff like that. It can also help sell products or get people to buy into your service. So I always say, guys, look, put a blog out there. I appreciate it is time consuming sometimes when you write it, but again, ChatGPT being your best friend in the world, it can help, create the foundations of what you want to write about. There is a company or a website called WebFX, which once you've created your blog, you can put it in there and then it'll tell you how, from an SEO purpose and an audience perspective, how readable it is. So it'll give you a score out of 100, and then you can adapt it to make sure it's the best that it can be before you put it up there. So again, there's quite a lot of free tools out there that you guys can use. Avoid inconsistent posting as well. I've seen people who haven't posted in over a year. That doesn't help. The more people that you can bring to your site from a blogging perspective will help your SEO ranking, and it will help just drive more people to your website. Low quality content, I've seen where some businesses don't focus on what they should be focusing on, i.e. I had one which was a golfing website where they sold cheap golfing products, which was amazing. However, the content was around, do you know your handicap in golf? Now it's kind of, yes, it's in the same field, but it's not directly related to you can get cheap golf products here. These are the top 5 cheap golf products that you can use, or stuff like that. Okay, so making sure it's relevant and consistent. And don't focus solely on self-promotion. I don't just keep selling products over and over again. Try and mix it up a little bit. Cool. So we're just going to move over to the breakout because I appreciate the time of the day, and I just want to make sure that you guys have enough time to review each other's websites. So Masuma, I'll pass over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking us through that. I know there was a lot of information there, but we will be sending out the slides and the recording later. And you've got your checklist in the workbook that Alice just sent in the chat. So we're going to put you into groups of 4. And we've got about 20 minutes for this activity. So you'll have 5 minutes each. And we'd love for you to share your screen if you can, get your website up and go through the checklist, get some feedback from each other, and see can just see what feedback you get, what people like about your website, what they would improve, what maybe isn't so clear, and capture all of that in your workbook so you know what to work on after the session. So Alice, could you put us in the room?
Yes, definitely. So guys, like Masuma said, 20 minutes. You will be moved automatically. I am just going to recreate the rooms. I know some of you are dropping off, which is totally fine. We should be good to go. I will open up the rooms for you guys. Over to you, Ian and Masuma.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your breakouts and enjoyed your conversations, and got some good tips. I know time is always really tight in these breakouts because once you get talking, there is so much feedback to give and so many valuable things that people are saying that you want to note down. So we definitely encourage you to continue the conversations, book sessions with our mentors, and continue working on this. And I'm really sorry if anyone did get cut off. I can see in the chat that Mike maybe didn't have enough time. So really sorry about that. But yeah, I'll hand it back over to Ian to take us through the rest of the session.
Yeah, look, it's really good, the positive kind of conversations, and of course, if there's any feedback, always take it with a pinch of salt. You can always improve your website because
That's right.
a lot of the people that you are speaking to are probably not your average customers, so they can give you some true insight. And what you don't want to do is always ask your family members or best friends, because they're always yes people, right? Always go and try and get, some people are going to give you unique feedback. The one-to-one mentors on this platform, really good for it. If anybody's ever been subjected to me, I don't even bother waste time, because I'll just go straight into it. These are some of the tools that I do help people understand and benefit from. So I'm just showcasing these again. You guys can take a screenshot. It will be in the pack that's sent out, but just have a look. It can help benefit your website in many different ways. Kind of, what's next, based on a checklist, how many of you can enhance your websites, how many of you can improve it. Again, you can jot down some notes and then come to the one-to-one mentoring session, and then talk through what your plans are. Some of us can agree or disagree on it, give you our kind of insight into it. I have the pleasure of doing a lot even on the BT corporate website, so hopefully I know a thing or two, especially as I've been doing this for about 15 years. So happy to give feedback, no problem with it. I appreciate your passions are probably elsewhere, and you can teach me about your passions as well, so it's not going to be a one-way street, because I love learning about new businesses. We will be running other labs in the future. This is not going to be the only one. We're going to be focusing on Google Ads. Of course, the main aim is to make sure your website is tip top before you start doing any advertising, whether it be Facebook, social media type stuff as well. But the main idea is to ensure you have a working website, people can navigate it, use it, and ideally convert from it. So, if you guys can make some notes based on your checklist, just have it, book a one-to-one session with as many different mentors as you want. It's free. You can utilize my time, then go to somebody else and so forth. Again, just making sure, you're putting your best foot forward. Because at the end of the day, we wake up in the morning, we go to bed at night. The only thing that doesn't go to sleep is your website. That is your 24-hour salesperson. So just make sure, people are coming to your website and then converting from your website, or at least understanding what you're about and can recommend you to others. Over to you, Masuma.
Thank you. I know there were some questions that came through. We are running out of time, so I want to really quickly just answer a couple about the mentoring. Our mentoring is completely free. Alice has just sent a link on how you can book a mentoring session, and we've got a video that shows you the process as well, which we'll send in the email that we send out this afternoon. Everything on our platform is free, so please do make the most of it, like Ian said. Ian is on the platform, but he is only one person, so please don't flood him with too many requests. We have lots of wonderful mentors on the platform who can help you, and we will send you all of the links you need later. There was one question that I've just seen. Ian, do you recommend using your own name or a business name? Which is best? Before you answer that, just really quickly, if anyone else has questions, I'm not sure we'll have time to get to it, but please do book one-to-ones or email them in to us and we'll do everything we can to help you and direct you to the right place. But Ian, over to you.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it just depends. Are you the brand or are you the individual behind the brand? I always use Vivienne Westwood. She was the brand. So that's why she used her own website. Used her own name, especially in the website and the branding, everything else. Are you going to be, it could be a consultant, you could be, I don't know, Jane Smith Consulting. No problem with using that instead of JS Consulting. So again, do you want to be known as the person who is the brand, or do you want the brand to sit on its own? So, one day you can retire, live your life on a yacht, and somebody else continues to run the business. So it just depends.
Great answer there. I think with most answers, it does depend, which is why we always encourage you to book one-to-one sessions so you can get answers for your specific business and your specific situation. So yeah, we will be in touch later with all of the details. Thank you all for coming, and we would love any feedback that you have on this session. So please fill out the feedback form that you'll receive later, or just drop us an email with your thoughts. We would love to hear them. And we will hopefully see you at a session very soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, everyone.